Hi, I'm Mike Marino, and this is a brand new episode of Live from My Mother's Basement. Hey everybody, how you doing? Welcome to another edition of Live from My Mother's Basement. My friend Todd Staruch, did I say it right?
Staruch.
Staruch.
It's all good.
I thought it was stout. How do you spell it?
Staruch.
Staruch.
Yeah.
Boy, I bet you had a lot of fun being made fun of when you were a kid.
Dude.
Staruch. Hey, Staruch playing.
Exactly.
Staruch, you coming over?
Exactly.
What was your nickname?
Well, my nickname, because of my first name, they used the derogatory. They called me Toad.
Toad?
Toad.
I thought they would attack that last name.
Yeah. No, most people couldn't even say it, much less attack it.
Oh, no shit.
Yeah.
Todd, or Toad, came over this afternoon to be on the show. And as he came down the stairs to be with me down here in the basement to do this little show that we do, Live from My Mother's Basement, he said to me, I just got a phone call from my daughter, you're not going to believe this. So why don't you tell everybody what you just told me about 5 minutes ago before we started this?
No lie, my daughter texted me, Dad, you're not going to believe this. Driving home, just north of Philly, heard shots ring out but there's a bus station in an elementary school. Guy came running out of the elementary school, fired 2 more shots, and then just ran off. 7 people were shot, including a bunch of children. Shots were fired, hit a bus, and the guy's still at large. So,
can you believe this? He's on his way over to my house to do a happy-go-lucky podcast where we make people smile and laugh and get interested in what's going on in our crazy lives, or my guest's crazy life. And the first thing he says is, I'm talking to my daughter. Wait, I saw you talking to her. And he said, you're not going to believe this. And I'm like, wow. Now, we tried to put on the television because it just happened. It's not in the news yet, but it's probably going to hit the news in the next 5 minutes. Where exactly is this? Now, this is a grammar school, a college shooting?
Well, my daughter goes to school in a town called Abington. She goes to Penn State. It's one of their satellite
All right, so
campuses.
she's in college, yeah.
Yeah, freshman in college. It's just north of Philadelphia. It's a suburb of Philly. So she was south of where she goes at one of the, just driving. I don't know where she was going. She didn't even tell me. But yeah, she was waiting, and there's a bus station next to a school. Kids are waiting, get on the bus or whatever. Guy came out and just was firing shots. She heard the shots, and then the police showed up and directed her away, and there we are.
Isn't that unbelievable?
Yeah,
now we're going to watch in the news in about an hour or so what it's all about and who's going to get arrested, and then there it is. The new normal.
Well,
a shooting. I remember when I was in school, the last thing on your mind was somebody coming in with a gun. The only thing that was on your mind is, are you going to get a date for the dance, and did you have to play dodgeball?
100%.
It's ridiculous.
I don't want to linger on this too long, Mike, but I'll give you just real quick perspective, right? So my daughter
can't hit the bar because it shakes the camera.
You think I know that as a filmmaker?
Don't do this. Boom.
You think I know that shit, right?
Yeah.
But she, she goes to Penn State. It's a big school. Kids from all over the world. A couple months ago, they had an active shooter drill on the campus. The kids from Europe had no idea what they were talking about. Like, what do you mean an active shooter drill?
Could you imagine that?
And they're like, oh, well, this is what happens if someone comes on campus with a gun. Like, what do you mean comes on campus with a gun? And the European and Asian kids had no idea what they were even talking about. So,
I remember the fire drill when we were kids. It was an excuse to go outside.
Right.
And when that bell buzzed, bring, 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 it was like, it's a fire drill. This one's real.
Mike, remember when they used to do the school bus training and you got to jump out of the emergency exit in the back of the school bus?
That I don't remember.
Oh, you never did that? Oh, we did that.
We were one of the classy kids.
We
walked
forward
to school.
To that.
We had to walk to school. When there was 6 feet of snow and they didn't cancel the day.
2 miles uphill both ways.
Thank you.
Yes.
Unbelievable. So
it's the world we live in, my friend.
And then now they cancel school when it drizzles.
Yeah.
I remember we used to walk to school. It's not too far from here. When you walked, you just barreled into hundreds of kids walking.
Yeah.
We saw the bus. They came from far away. And we always wondered where they were coming from. But I never did a bus drill. I don't even know if the kids who did commute in the bus did a bus drill.
I don't know. I only did, it was the tail end of integration. So in 6th grade, I was bused. But other than that, I lived close enough to walk to school. But you're right. Everybody walked. In 3rd grade, I was already walking to school. Today, if you let your kid walk to school in the 3rd grade, they'll probably put you in jail.
Imagine that. Here's my impersonation of a junior high school bus driver. All right, get off the fucking bus. You're here. Somebody help Johnny.
Exactly.
Get off the bus.
Exactly.
Morons. I'll be back at 3.
Sit down and shut up.
Yeah. Is there a seatbelt? Yeah, put the rope around your head.
Seatbelt? We didn't have seatbelts in our cars.
Hey, here's a trivia. Do you remember when they sawed off a school bus and made it a little tiny amusement park on the bus? And they had the Tilt-A-Whirl. The Tilt-A-Whirl was on the bus. It would come into your neighborhood. Kids would get on. Smelled like grease and change. And it would take the kid around. Bada boom, bada boom, bada boom. All right, get off the carny. They made it a ride. That was Jersey City. Maybe that was a little bit tougher.
Yeah, maybe.
Imagine them doing that today.
I grew up in the burbs.
Yeah. Well, I'm a burb guy.
Yeah.
This is the suburbs. Everybody around here is friendly. God forbid there's ever a shooting around here, boy. I tell you, I don't know what the hell would happen because these schools they're pretty elite. And they're nice people and multicultural, and everybody seems to get along. So I don't know. All right. So anyway, let's hope at the end of the podcast that we can turn on the news and maybe it was a false alarm. Or we'll figure it out. Hopefully,
Well, I hope
it's not too bad.
okay,
As long as your daughter's okay. Is your phone on?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll see. It's over there. I didn't want it to.
Keep your phone on in case she calls. We'll take that call.
All right.
So, Todd, where'd you come in from? Where'd you drive in from?
Not far. I live in Kenilworth, right here in Union County.
Kenilworth.
20 minutes from here.
Nice area. I think they
It
used to
is.
shoot The Sopranos over there, right? Or am I thinking of Kearney?
You're thinking of Kearney.
Kearney, something with a K.
Kearney. Yeah.
If it's not Kenilworth, it's Kearney. If it's not Kearney, it's that's it. That's all we got. 2 Ks.
Maybe others. I don't know. There's a bunch of towns in New Jersey that I never fucking heard of. You drive around, and you're like, I didn't even know that place existed.
Is that area where you grew up?
Yeah, I grew up in Union. So went to Union High School, and then moved to Kenilworth.
Union, right through Route 22, where all the really cool archives of legendary things are being taken down, quite honestly. They got rid of the Four Seasons bowling alley after 100 years. The flagship's really not a flagship anymore. It's a store.
Yeah, it's a PC Richards electronics store
Used to
now,
be the
but
Wiz.
Yeah, was the Wiz a
Remember
long
was the
time
Wiz?
ago. Yeah.
Nobody beats the Wiz. Yes, PC Richards does.
They did. They
Beat
did
you right out of
indeed.
business. And before that, it was Crazy Eddie.
And a long time ago, it started out as a nightclub. That was a little before my time, but I've only seen pictures. But it was a nightclub for a long
Way
time.
before your time, because my mother used to go there, and the flagship theater was the place to be.
Yeah.
That was like the Rat Pack style. Now, if you're not from this area, which most people watching the podcast are not, they're nowhere near this area. That's on Route 22, and Route 22 is what we call in the great state of New Jersey, Death 22. It's one of the most dangerous roadways in the United States because you can go, is it east to west?
East to west.
East to west on both sides of the road. So there's shops in the middle. These cars going this way, these cars going this way, and then shops over here and shops over here. So it's like this.
Oh, and the best
like a
is
racetrack.
people pull out in front of you and then don't hit the goddamn gas.
Yes. Don't you love that?
But this is why we're tough, Mike, because we learned to drive on Route 22.
Yes, we do.
So
You just go around them blowing the horn, and then you look at them.
yeah.
And then you realize you would do the same thing because they're pulling out of a place with food and they don't want it to fall.
Right. Exactly. So
Nothing like a guy coming out of the White Castle. I don't want to spill my burger. I got 48 of them. I don't want none of these falling on the floor.
exactly.
I just made myself hungry.
Yeah, listen, now
Listen,
you
when
said
we-
White Castle. That's what I'm going to have
White
to get
Castle.
on the way home from here.
There's a White Castle. There's the White Diamond. The White Castle's a chain, but the White Diamond solo by itself. It's right by the entrance to the Parkway. So if you were going down the shore, you got your White Diamond. If you were coming home from the shore at 3 o'clock in the morning, you got your White Diamond because you were wasted.
Nothing like sliders at 3 in the morning after drinking.
Sliders, man. You know, there's something about having a slider in your 20s, you keep it.
Yeah.
But when you get in your 40s and your 50s, you have a slider. Now you know why they call it a slider.
Yeah, Mike, the other day I made a critical error in judgment. I had Taco Bell and White Castle in the same day.
That can't be.
Yeah.
So you had White Castle?
Yeah. And I lived. So
I'm not a Taco Bell guy. I don't even know what to order. I'm not a taco guy. But for some reason or other, now that I mentioned White Castle, I'd like to go. I know what's going to happen. I'm going to be in pain.
well,
It's going to hurt.
it's the price we pay, right?
And now it's overpriced. It used to be like a quarter for a burger. For $1, you'd be full. Now you got to have like $10, $20.
Yeah.
I wouldn't even know how to get in that line. I remember you used to go in. You used to go into the White Castle, and it was fun. You know, you sat there. You felt like you were rich.
Oh,
Give me 20 hamburgers.
exactly. If I tried
There's
to
two
eat
of
that
us.
many, you may as well just drive me to the hospital right after that.
You know what I did recently? Maybe you know this place. It's called the Tower. Tower 2. It's on Route 22 in like Plainfield.
Yes.
Hot dogs.
I do know it.
Hot
I
dogs.
do know it. Haven't been there in years.
Tower 2, but I think there's one more someplace else. So I went in there. There was nobody in there. Just the guy who owns it. He looks like he's 100. He's sitting there watching the news. I'm like, can I get 2 dogs with onions? And he had it for me in seconds. But you get hamburgers in there. You get a lot of food. And it's fun. It's actually fun.
Yeah.
But at my age right now, boy, I had it. And I'm like, this is delicious. But you know what? I got to get home.
Because
I
you're
don't
going to
feel
pay.
good.
You're going to pay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the onions weren't as good as like when you, if you remember the New York dirty water dog soubrette with the soubrette onions, the red cooked onions. They were good.
Oh, we're talking about food.
This guy fucked it up. I don't know how we got on food. So we went from dangerous shit to food. That's Jersey.
That is. Mike, that's my weakness. I will eat anything off a cart in New York City. I really will. I made him choke. It's like, excuse me, what is that? Well, sir, we're not entirely sure. Well, you know what? Put it over rice and give me some
2 of them.
I'm fine. I don't really care.
If you think about it, where is the greatest area for street food? Maybe it would be New York City, because every corner you're going to get a flavor from somewhere. And you know you can get a hot dog, okay? So let's say that's American. You're not going to get it from an American. You're going to get it from a foreigner. So you might as well have the foreign food, because they're going to do it the right way.
The kebab guys are good, right? The kebabs are good. The knishes, holy shit, right?
Greek food on the street. What's it called? The gyro, hero?
I even like the charcoal pretzels that they got over the charcoal, right?
Seemed like they were great back in the day. Now it's a little like, come on, man. How long has this pretzel been
Well,
sitting
plus
here?
they're like $11 now. It's like
Remember, it was
crazy.
$3.
$3.
A hot dog was $1.50.
Yeah.
You got 3. And a yoo-hoo.
Yeah. Oh, yoo-hoo. Mike.
We'll be right back after this
Yeah,
commercial.
we're gonna go eat.
Remember I used to get 2 dirty water dogs with onions, no mustard, because I didn't want to fuck up the flavor of the onion, and a yoo-hoo. And a yoo-hoo was in a can. Remember, it was in a can?
Yeah.
And you popped it.
Yep.
I can even remember when it came all the way off and you flicked it.
God, we're old. Younger people are like, what?
What
These
the hell?
fucking guys
What the hell's a
talking
yoo-hoo?
about? Like, yoo-hoo.
Oh, shit, I'll take you way back. How about
Flip top?
Bosco?
What? Yeah, well, Bosco you still get. I like Bosco better than Hershey's.
Is that
for
right?
Making a chocolate milk.
For you're going to make a milkshake, or you're going to
Yeah.
put it on your ice cream?
Yeah, Bosco's good shit.
Right. So you're a chef, right? Is
Stop
that why
talking
we...
about food? Chef. Nah, he's
I know, I'm
He's
just
talking
saying.
about garbage. Dirty water dogs, Taco Bell, Yeah.
I missed that so much. All right, so
right.
Todd comes over. We got through what we went through. We're going to call his daughter in a little while, make sure everything is okay, and then we'll turn on the news tonight. It's not going to make much sense when you all watch this show, because this is being recorded some other time. But maybe you'll replay this and you'll be like, yes, that did happen. It was Philadelphia?
Yeah, Philly.
Philly?
Yeah.
All right. So you're in show business like a lot of different people.
Well, yeah, we call it that.
When you were a kid, were you an actor? Were you doing like plays in school? Or
No, I was a nerdy kid. I was like a brainy kid. I got picked on a lot and shit in school. Wasn't athletic or anything. I got into this much later in life. I'm an IT nerd by trade. That's what pays the bills.
Right.
And then I just kind of fell into independent filmmaking.
So what is going on? What is your side gig? And I know about the Horror Nerd and the festivals that you like to attend. And I know you were talking about possibly taking a look at the project that I'm doing with my producer Tatiana Bluchel and her husband Cody Boson, who directed this project. Now he directs a lot of the projects that I'm in, but this is something a little bit different for me. We'll talk a little bit about it, but it's not really ready to be shown. But it's going to be cool as hell because Tatiana creates these creatures that are pretty disgusting.
Nice.
I always feel like saying disgusting is insulting, but I guess that would be a great compliment to someone who creates creatures.
Sure.
I mean, you're a horror nerd.
Yeah, for an effects
somebody's
artist, yeah.
Special
Yeah,
effects.
yeah.
She's a special effects makeup artist. And she does really incredible stuff, man. They were gonna do one of those things where they pour goop on your head and your head becomes.
Oh, you're gonna make a life mask.
Yeah, I really want to do that. I want to do that. They put the things in your nose.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
All of a sudden you look like. Then they kill you.
Listen, I have been in a bunch of indie horror movies, and I get killed in almost all of them, and people seem to love that. I don't know what I did to anybody.
Did you like being killed?
Oh yeah, it's a blast.
You're a big guy.
I took a pipe to the skull.
Oh,
I got
nice.
shot in the face. Like all kinds of cool.
The best.
All kinds of cool shit.
Well, how tall are you?
I'm 6 foot.
That's it.
I'm 6 foot.
I
Yeah.
thought you were like 6'4".
No, God, no. I'm 6 foot even.
So you walking
seem a little
around with a nice
beefier, I
hockey
guess.
mask
Yeah. Yeah. Well.
and a butcher knife.
Listen, what I do in the nights and evening, weekends is my business. All right.
So what is your involvement? What are you doing? You created, you wrote, you produced, you're being starred in. What's going on?
Well, a little bit of everything. So the most recent project I was in, I was a co-producer and a writer on a horror anthology film called Return to the Theater of Terror. I did it with my friend Tom Ryan's production company, the Theater of Terror. And
Was the Theater of Terror once a show on television? What am I thinking of? Chiller?
You're thinking of Chiller.
Remember
Chiller Theater. And
the
would
hand
come up.
with 6 fingers.
6 fingers.
Remember
Yep.
how fucking scary that was for a kid?
That's why I love horror, because I
And that-
watched that shit when I was a kid, when my mother wasn't looking.
Now you look at shit like that and you're like, that's not scary.
Right.
But you remember the hand? Let's see if I can do it.
Sure.
Chiller.
That's pretty close.
Right?
That's exactly
And then you
it.
ran into the kitchen. Mom! The hand! The hand!
Yeah.
You were petrified.
Yeah, man. I loved that shit as a kid, and it just stayed with me. So that was a fun project. It's 4 short stories wrapped up into an anthology, and I wrote one of the segments, and I was a co-producer of the whole film.
So you filmed these projects?
Yeah.
Okay.
On set, look, in the indie film world, right, we don't have millions of dollars, so we all wear a lot of hats. So you're a writer, but you're also setting up lights,
Sure.
boom mic, whatever. In fact, Mike, it's through the indie film world is how you and I first met. I don't know if you even remember.
Tell me, how did this happen?
At my...
Why are you in my basement?
The early days of my film festival, we showed a
Your
film.
film festival?
Yep,
You gotta tell
Grindhouse
us all
Nights
about
Film
this shit.
Festival. We showed a film that you were in called Kung Fu and Titties. You remember?
Wait a minute. Yes, I do. And you know what's really funny? After all these years of doing that movie, I get recognized from that movie a lot. And people will tell me, man, that was hilarious. Because when you do think about
it's a
it,
funny movie.
it was
really is.
stupid.
It is.
And the whole thing is making fun of the industry.
Right. Right.
Kung
Exactly.
Fu. Why do people want? Guys want to go see Kung Fu, and guys want to go see boobs.
Right.
So the guy writes the movie Kung Fu and titties. I got it all.
Right.
And I never met Bronson Pinchot, who stars in the movie, along with me and I guess the other guy. I forgot his name.
Yeah.
But we never.
Oh, it
I
was a
never
long
got to
time
meet
ago.
those guys.
Yeah.
But recently, somebody even introduced me. I was at the Laugh Factory in Hollywood, and this MC goes, and now, ladies and coming to the stage, you might have seen him on a Tonight Show, you might have seen him on Comics Unleashed, you might have even seen him in a movie called Kung Fu and Titties. Here's Mike Marino. And I'm like, dude, where the fuck did you find that?
Right.
He goes like this, IMDb.
Well, it's true. And I remember we showed it at the film festival, and you and a few other people who were in the movie showed up. And then, there we are. We still in touch after all this time. And
Why was it even in that
festival?
festival? Because you do horror.
Yeah, well, but back in the day, we were it was more informal. I really just had a festival where I showed movies from people that I knew.
Was that in Cranford?
That was at Cafe Z in Union. And Sargon Odassi, who was in that movie, was a friend of mine. And I said, she introduced me to the director, and I'm like, yeah, I'll show your movie, And it was basically a bunch of people just in a bar watching indie films.
Yeah.
Right? And it's
Let's
like,
do that again.
Yeah, anytime, man. If maybe when your film is ready.
This one, yeah.
We'll do something. But that was fun. Those were the early days. Now the film festival is a little more formalized.
Good.
We get submissions from all over. I have a panel of judges that.
What's the film festival called?
Grindhouse Nights Film Festival. It's on Film Freeway.
Grindhouse Nights?
Yes.
Why is that the title?
Because when we first started, we specialized in like the old school gritty 42nd Street grindhouse type grainy horror films, Texas Chainsaw Massacre type stuff, stuff that wouldn't get shown in like a regular, you wouldn't waltz into an AMC and see that shit,
Well, I have to confess, I don't know when it's on, but on Channel 3, which is MeTV, which is my favorite channel because I watch all the old shit.
It's a great channel.
My favorite show is the Andy Griffith Show, Twilight Zone, shit like that. They have that on TV3. But I don't know when it comes on, but there's this guy, they call him Svengoolie.
Svengoolie. I know him very well.
No, you know him personally?
Yes.
I love him.
Yes.
I love that guy.
He's a good dude.
Is he?
Yeah, very
He's
nice guy.
so
very
fucking
nice guy.
funny,
Yeah.
man.
Yeah, that's a great show.
I love watching that channel. And then this guy, Svengoolie, and it's the other guy, sometimes he has another guy there acting kind of funny. They do funny stuff, but their knowledge of the movie that they're showing is unbelievable.
It's almost like he was around before Mystery Science Theater 3000,
Mystery Science
right?
Theater.
And he would introduce the movie, right? He'd make fun of it, and then yeah, it's great. It's good stuff.
This guy Svengoolie, when he comes on the show, like I was watching something the other night. You're usually going to watch something that's hard to get through. Because they're campy.
Yeah, it's an old shitty movie from the 50s or 60s.
You'll see shit like this in the movie. Run! He's behind you.
Yeah. Oh yeah. 100%.
And then he'll make a comment on that. But he will say, this star in this project you may have seen, and he shows him in other movies. You've seen this actress, and then he shows them in other projects. You're like, wow. They're not just one-hit wonders. They're actually people who've been in a lot of different movies. They might not have become big movie stars, but for this moment, they're in a lot of different projects. And I forgot what the one was recently called, but they've made remakes of it.
Mm.
It just feels like watching the original is more fun.
Oh, sure.
Like War of the Worlds.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
Or The Thing. If you ever watch the original Thing, it's really not that scary. And you really don't see the creature till the end. The new one, or the one with
Kurt Russell.
Kirk Russell, that was some scary shit.
John Kirk. God, I was a kid when that came out, and when like HBO was fairly new, and I thought I liked horror movies, so I'm like, ooh, what's this? And then right near the beginning, like when the dog's face splits open, I'm like, fuck this. You know, I appreciated it later, but when you're like 9, you're not really ready for that shit.
Or what about when they're sitting there and they're all tied up, and he goes, "Get me away from him! Get me away from him!" And then ultimately,
Yeah.
That was great, man.
Yeah, I don't want to die tied to this fucking chair. Like,
Yeah.
oh yeah, it's great.
The head goes on the ground and the legs come out of it.
Yeah. Oh, it's great stuff, man. It's great stuff. That movie still holds up today.
Yeah, it's. I would think Alien, the first Alien. I always wished I was in a movie like that. You know, so tell me about the projects that you make, and you put them in your own festival. Did you make any projects that actually are out there making some money or getting you guys recognition to do more shit?
Well, you know, it's hard because it's a double-edged sword, Mike, right? The fact that equipment has gotten cheaper and editing software and everything, everybody's making movies now. There's a million indie films out there. So it's really hard to get noticed. You know, we're pushing hard with this one. We do have distribution to a company called Bayview Entertainment. So we're in stores, we're streaming, you know. So you just got to hope that the right person sees it, catches wind, you know. So we get some of that sweet, sweet Netflix money.
Yeah, well, hey.
Right?
Where can you actually see some of the projects? What are the names of them?
So both the Theater of Terror and Return to the Theater of Terror are on Amazon Prime, Vudu. You know, you search for them and they're out there. It's not, you know, it's not that hard to find.
Theater of Terror.
Yeah, Theater of Terror. And we're fancy. It's theater with the British spelling. It's R-E, not E-R. You know, we try, it's theater, Theatre. Yeah, we tried to be a little fancy.
Theatre?
Theatre of Terror. But listen,
Theater of Terror. Wait a minute. I need to digest this because it's really making me think about when I was a kid and you saw that hand. Theater of. There's a movie that kind of says something like that. Trilogy of Terror.
Trilogy of Terror.
Is that the little
with the little African doll
little
at the end?
I hate that goddamn movie.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
That had to have been the scariest fucking thing you've ever seen when you were a kid.
I hate that.
When that little monster went running around.
Yeah.
And there was also another reason why that movie was so scary. Was that woman with the crazy eye.
Karen Black.
Karen Black played. She just looked evil.
Yeah.
That poor girl. She probably was a nice lady that always got cast in horror movies because she looked scary.
She was scary.
Did she have a broken eye?
I think it was like a lazy eye or something.
Oh, a lazy
like
eye.
that.
So it wasn't like an eye like.
Not that I know of, anyway.
Karen Black. She actually got labeled to be like the horror queen.
A horror actress, yeah.
Right?
Yeah, I mean, because even later in life, she was in that Rob Zombie movie, House of a Thousand Corpses.
I never saw that.
You know,
but I could have sworn she was in one of the Omens. Was a remake of The Omen. Maybe. She was in a lot of scary movies, man. When she turned around and she gave you that look, you were like, man, she's horrifically sexy.
Oh, dude, you're not kidding. I mean, she would do horror conventions, you know, and she sold replicas of that little doll.
No way.
And I'd walk past the table and I'm like, kill it with fire right now. I'm like, no fucking way.
What the fuck was Trilogy of Terror? It was just a movie, right?
Yeah, it was a movie, but it was 3 little stories, and that was the only one that was scary. That was any good. You know,
and they showed it last.
Yeah, I can't even remember what the other 2 were about, to be honest with you. You know, because that was the only.
I don't even remember what that was about, because when you saw that little creature, you just didn't look at the movie no more. You're like,
yeah. And she tries to burn it in the oven at the end, and then that doesn't go so well.
Trilogy of Terror.
Trilogy of Terror.
So your theater.
Theater of Terror.
Theater of Terror.
Yeah.
In the Theater of Terror, does it take place in a theater?
It does. So the premise of the first anthology is a woman finds an ad to help close down an old theater that went out of business, and she meets Colin, who was the projectionist. And he says, "Oh, it's too bad all these old movie palaces are closing down. Why don't you sit for a while and watch some movies?" And well, let's just see, things don't go as she might have hoped. So I don't want to give anything away. People need to watch the movies.
Watch this movie.
Exactly.
Anything that takes place in a theater from back in the day is going to be scary. I've performed in some theaters, and I usually go early so I could take a look at the history of it.
Yeah.
So that even in New Jersey, there are some theaters from the early 1900s that'll creep you the fuck out.
Well, funny you mention that, because we shot scenes for the first one in the landmark Lowe's in Jersey City, which is an amazing old movie palace, and it's like stepping back in time. It's closed now for renovation. I can't wait to see what it looks like after they clean it up.
I've done a lot of shows at this theater, the Lowe's in Jersey City. There was 3 on the boulevard right around each other. My father was a doorman at the Jersey City Lowe's. People used to call it the Lowies because of the way it's spelled.
Yep.
And then there was the Stanley down the block.
Yeah.
And it kind of makes you wonder, how would they even stay in business at that time? But that's what people did. And the Lowe's, as far as I know, is 3,000 seats.
Yes, you're 100% right.
And it has tiers.
Yep.
Maybe 2.
Yep.
I played there once, and it looked like the top was going to fall down and crush the people below.
Yep.
And they have a film festival there, too, called, I guess it's the Golden Door. Golden Door, which I actually hosted the awards. I host a lot of awards shows, film festivals. So I hosted there, and usually what I do, since we're not the Oscars and there's no time limit, I tell everybody, look, you only got a minute. Say what you got to say and get out of here, because if there's any problems, I got to pick up the pieces and start doing stand-up.
Uh-oh.
And I remember at the Lowe's, I'm like, let's make this quick, because when the sun goes down, Dracula comes out, and we're all going to die. They actually have a organ in this theater that supposedly is, what do you call it, a historical landmark. You can't touch it.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
And only a guy who's trained to play it can play it.
No, you're 100% right. I can't remember his name. Like, if you paid me money, I wouldn't remember.
Okay.
But I went to a book signing. I met one of the guys who plays the organ, because George R.R. Martin, the guy that writes the Game of Thrones books, did a book signing.
Oh, wow.
And on the guy was playing the theme from the show on that organ. It comes up out of the ground. The stage. Yep.
Isn't that amazing?
Yeah, it's cool shit.
The night that I was there, well, I had been there several nights. I forgot what one of them. I think it was the film festival. And the guy comes up out of the ground. He's playing the organ, and they were showing black and white silent movies on the screen while he was playing the organ. I mean, it was cool as shit. And here we go again. Outside of this legendary theater is a hot dog joint that's been there for 100 years, and all they make is hot dogs and sodas. Shit, Broadway drinks.
That sounds right.
It doesn't say hot dog. You just got to know of it, and everybody does. I can smell the hot dogs. I'm so hungry right now. The popcorn that's on the floor, the sticky shit. I mean, it's really... The entrance of this theater really looks like the Titanic.
Yeah.
It's insane how beautiful they made this place.
Well, you can see it. If you saw the movie Joker with Joaquin Phoenix that came out, there's a scene where a bunch of people come running out of the theater, and that's the landmark Lowe's.
Is that right?
Yeah. Yeah. A bunch of my friends were extras in that scene. So they all come running out of the theater. That's the Lowe's.
Yep. I think it's called Broadway drinks.
Could be.
It makes no sense, but the hot dogs are the best. There's an alleyway you go down. You're steps away from getting mugged.
It adds to the atmosphere.
It does.
You know?
It does. I actually had a film crew do a documentary on a piece of my career there. And now that I realize it, man, what an amazing background. You know when you go up a set of stairs and you hear those creaking and cracking?
Oh, yeah.
So that's a great place to shoot. I bet you
Yeah.
there's ghosts in there.
Listen, it was creepy as shit. Like that's all I'll say. But it was great to shoot there, and we actually went not the second one, but the first movie. We actually did our premiere there, and they were very nice to us. And for one night, I felt like Hollywood. You know, we
It
had a
is
red
Hollywood.
carpet and everything, and it really I can't do it justice, Mike. The way you've never been into like a real old movie palace. You don't know the multiplexes today. It's not. It's just not.
This is. Could you imagine what that would look like, full of people?
Especially back in the day, people would dress up to go to the movies. You know,
Marble, big gaudy chandeliers. They have a lot of antiques in there from back in the day. Hopefully they won't get rid of it. They even had a cigarette machine. I was cracking up. Remember you pull that pa-ching for $1.
Yep. Well, from what I understand, so there's a group called Friends of the Lowe's that took it over, and they're managing the renovation. And from what I've heard, they're not, because it's a landmark, they're not allowed to touch certain things. They're just kind of bringing it up to code so that you don't die, when you go there. But
kinda
yeah, I'm
wonder.
looking forward to it.
Yeah. Are you going to have a film festival there again?
It depends. So my festival is a little different. We not only show movies, but we also have live entertainment. So we'll have a lot of burlesque or bands or whatever. We're at a place called Crossroads now in Garwood. So that lends itself. But man, I would love to.
Didn't
do
you
a
ask
film
me to
festival.
come there at Crossroads?
Yes.
What happened to that?
I don't know. You tell me.
See, I travel so much, I forget, and then
No, now that you mention it, Mike, I think you were literally coming back from, I want to say, Chicago, like the day of the event or something. Because I also do a charity event around the holidays, and that's what
it was.
we were talking about. And then it was like literally the timing just didn't work out. So,
I would
in the
be
future.
happy to help with any kind of film festival / horror festival. Chiller. I want to be in part of films, of course. This is my love. But I like hosting the awards nights too because I can make it really funny, move it along.
Right.
Like I used to host the Beverly Hills Film Awards for 10 years in a row. And they made it like the Oscars. And it was funny because I had to read a teleprompter and, all the specific shit. But if there was a glitch, they just looked at me like, "You're on.
Do your thing.
You're on. Can you dance? What? But I met so many movie stars, and they were all there. And you hope that all these filmmakers will continue making films and consider you for some of the projects. I think making a horror film would be cool as shit, especially in some areas in New Jersey. We got the Jersey Devil.
Yeah.
We got some scary-ass old shit. Even in this town of Scotch Plains, they got these places that were built in the 1600s. They got a graveyard that people are from the 1700s. It's creepy as shit. There's this one house on this block, late 1800s it was built. And I don't know if anybody lives in there. I walk by it every day, and the shutters, the house, it looks like the Munsters. And I'm like, am I missing something? Is there anybody in there? Did they die? If this house doesn't look like the house on whatever that street is when they shot Norman, what am I thinking? Psycho.
Psycho.
It looks like the Psycho house.
Well, the Psycho house was on a soundstage, but I've seen houses that look like it, and you're right. I mean, or the Amityville house,
that house exists.
Creepy shit. It does. And just a little trivia for anyone who cares: it was actually the movie was shot in Lavallette, New Jersey.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
I thought that
it's
was
a
shot
lookalike
in
house. Nope.
No shit.
Yep, Lavallette. Mike, I have a question for you.
Uh-oh.
Why do you like horror movies? I know you're a big horror guy. We talk about it all the time.
First of all, I like being scared. Scare the fuck out of me. There's only really one movie that scares me anymore to this day. The Exorcist.
You and me both, brother. You and me
Nothing beat The Exorcist. I have nightmares to this day about The Exorcist, and I haven't seen it in years. I don't have to. I remember what that kid's face looks like. And and that was some scary ass shit. There's another movie that I think would be second scary. We're talking scary, not like
Gory or
not gory, not chainsaw,
yeah.
not Halloween, not even The Thing.
Mm-hmm.
Scary. Salem's Lot.
Good one.
Remember that?
Good one.
Bow to the master, and he goes, "Oh."
The Shining.
The Shining. How did I forget The Shining? The Shining, that to me was scary because of the acting.
Mm-hmm.
The acting was just. Do you know I watch The Shining every weekend? Just pieces of it. Because I fly every weekend, and The Shining is in the classics on United.
All right, there you go.
So what I do is I like to memorize some of the monologues. So I just keep on watching it. So if you're a fan of The Shining, one of the coolest scenes ever, in my opinion, was he's talking to that waiter in the bathroom.
Mm-hmm.
And he says, "You're the caretaker. You've always been the caretaker. I should know, sir. I've always been here."
Mm-hmm.
Like, who is that actor?
Right.
Who is that actor?
I don't know.
And what was it like to make that scene? Was he afraid to be near Jack Nicholson? Was Jack Nicholson that big of a star at that time? The scene is so fucking intense. And when Jack Nicholson looks at him and goes, he interferes. You know, that
It's
just
creepy shit, man.
But that movie was scary in dialogue.
Mm-hmm.
In dialogue.
I'm not gonna hurt you. I'm just gonna bash your fucking brains in. Yeah.
That was all good too, but even if you think about when he went to go get a drink at the bar, and he says, "I like you, Lloyd. I always have. You're the best goddamn bartender from Portland, Oregon to Timbuktu." Or is it Portland, Maine? And that's it.
Yep.
And you're like, oh. But they think there's some kind of music. It's not music, it's just something so haunting.
Yeah.
And then to see him go back in time, and all of a sudden everybody's dressed like flappers.
Right.
We got to make that type of movie.
Good shit, man.
I would love to be that Jack Nicholson character.
Well, listen, man, let's figure it out. The problem always seems to be timing, right?
And money.
Yeah, well, yeah, listen. I got a kid in college for pre-med, no less.
Ooh.
So I really got to dig up that buried treasure in the backyard I've been saving.
Well, you know, you get together with your friends, you find some extra cash maybe laying around, you put your own film festival together, and you can sell your project to yourself. Tell us about this shirt that you're wearing.
Well, so horrornerd.net is my website, and I have horribly neglected it the last few months because my real job has been keeping me very busy. But it's really just my own personal loves, right? Like, I just post shit that I like about horror and whatnot. I do a lot of celebrity interviews at horror conventions and stuff, you know, so the guests that are there, I'll sit down and spend a few minutes with them talking about their career or whatever, put that up on my site and my YouTube channel. So it's a lot of fun. It's a little weird. I've been doing it a long time, so every once in a while I'll get recognized somewhere. They're like, "You're that guy with the YouTube channel that interviews at the horror conventions, right?" And I'm like, "Oh, me?" You know, so that's kind of flattering and
That's
cool
great.
when that shit happens, you know?
That's great.
So yeah, I have to just get around to updating the site, you know, but that's sort of my hub for my horror life, you know, my films and whatever I'm working on at that time or whatever. So go to horrornerd.net, everybody, help get the traffic back up.
Horrornerd.net.
Yeah.
Got to take a look around. I want to watch what you're doing. Put Kung Fu and Titties on your site.
You know, what was that guy? I want to say, what was his? I can't remember the director's name now.
He was
but
a good guy, man.
He was a really nice guy. I'd love to talk to him again. That movie was
McDonald?
Yeah, Jim or Jeff?
Joe.
Joe McDonald. Yep. That was a funny movie. It was completely silly,
Chaos.
but it was funny. You know, Bronson Pinchot was hilarious. Every time he would say anything profound, they'd play the sound of like an eagle in the background. Just little things like that.
I gotta find
know?
that because I remember the one scene I was in the gorilla suit.
Yes.
And then I take the hat off and he goes, "You're not a gorilla." And I go, "Yes, I am." Or something like that. I forgot how it went. And the guy goes, "Well, what's going on?" I go, "I don't know, but there was this big problem and this guy came into the room and the monster grabbed him and he just ate him. He ate him right there. He ate him up." He goes, "You're full of shit." I'm like, "No, he didn't. No, he ate him." And when they said cut, we just could not stop fucking laughing. I'm like, "This doesn't even make any sense." He goes, "It will in the edit."
Well, I will. So Bronson Pinchot was at a convention one time, and I have the poster from the movie. So I wait online with all the other fans, and I get up there, and I'm like, you literally were in my favorite movie of all time." And he's like, "Really? What was that?" And I put Kung Fu and titties in front of him. Oh. And he's like, "Are you fucking kidding me right now?" But he laughed and he signed it. So it was a lot of fun. But he never saw that coming. It was great. It was one of the better moments of my life.
I never met him. I was never on the set with him. We had no scenes together. I think he was added to the movie when I was done shooting.
That's how it goes on movies. I was in an indie film. I will always tell everyone I was in a movie with Eric Roberts and Tom Sizemore. Never saw him, never on set together, but we were in a movie together. So
now here you are, live from my mother's basement, and we could tell everybody we never met.
Right, exactly.
I'm not really here.
No, it's AI. You know, it's AI Mike Marino.
This is artificial intelligence.
Exactly.
The horror nerd. I'm friends with a scream queen. She lives in Los Angeles. She's from Philadelphia. I think she's a mutual friend of yours too. Brooke Lewis.
Yes. Yeah, Brooke Lewis, super nice.
Brooke Lewis has been in some scream queen movies. She's a great actress. She definitely has that look.
Yeah.
Kind of like a cross between Lily Munster and Elvira.
Yeah, you're right. That's a good way to put it.
Elvira. Is Elvira alive?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Cassandra Peterson, she still does horror conventions. Most of the time now, she's not in the makeup anymore. She just does them as herself. You know, you meet her as herself.
What does she look like?
I'll tell you what. I wouldn't throw her out of bed for eating crackers. That's for sure.
I wonder how old she is.
I want to say 76 or 77.
Really?
Something like that, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Elvira.
Yeah.
I really don't even remember her career. She's just like an icon.
She would host, there would be like late night, local TV. She was a horror hostess. And then she did a couple of movies. And then she did a couple of they put out a couple of movies on VHS where it was like Elvira Presents.
Yeah,
and she would do like a little hostess thing in the middle,
Elvira.
almost like Svengoolie.
She's like a Svengoolie.
But a little bit hotter than him.
What does Svengoolie mean? It means something, doesn't it?
Well, so this is purely speculation on my part, but a Svengali was a person who could like cast a spell over you and get you to do things that he wanted. So I guess Svengoolie is maybe a take on that. I'm just speculating,
that's
folks.
What I was
have
thinking.
No goddamn idea.
Yeah, it's something strange.
But that would be my
But
guess.
a goof. Guys, you got to go check out Svengoolie, wherever you are. If you have this on your television, here in New Jersey and even in California, is Me TV. I forgot what Me TV means. Movie entertainment.
My entertainment.
My
TV,
entertainment.
something like
My
that.
television. Me TV. It's got all the black and whites. It's got all these great shows. In fact, sometimes I get up 3 o'clock in the morning, 4 o'clock in the morning, can't sleep, and I put on TV3, and you'll see like the Thunderbirds.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Remember them?
Oh, I love the Thunderbirds.
Thunderbirds.
Marionettes. Yeah.
Marionettes.
Thunderbirds are go.
I remember when I was a kid, it was scared the shit out of you. The monster's talking.
And that was cool shit. The fact that they did that shit with puppets, right? With marionettes.
As far as I remember, the
shit.
Thunderbirds came out of the United Kingdom. Wasn't that an English show?
I think you're right.
Because they had the accents.
Yeah, I think you're right.
And it was also, I think, the inspiration for one of the funniest movies, Team America.
Oh, yeah.
Team America. But the Thunderbirds, and then you'll see classic Popeye. Popeye. And I wonder how they're even having a go with it, because it seems like the cancel culture people would be like, I'm offended by Popeye. Sounds like such a jerk.
Mike, we could spend a whole nother hour talking about
Right.
that bullshit. How you can't even see Tom and Jerry, anymore
Yeah.
because of that
'Cause
nonsense.
You'll see Popeye say shit, whoa, what a hot dame.
Right.
Wow, I'm
Right.
offended. Well, it's a cartoon.
Right. Oh, you're offended? Oh. Sounds like a you problem.
And one more. On TikTok or Instagram, I've been watching the Little Rascals. Oh, they're the best. They're the best. I don't know why people say stupid shit about the way they were done. Come on, it's the time. It was the era. It's fucking funny.
It is, man. And the thing is, how is it that such a small minority of people can cause so much trouble?
I don't know.
Most grown-ups understand that it's a product of the time, and it's just funny.
It is. The
Nobody-
truth is always funny, so leave us comedians alone. Stay out of my house.
100%.
Stay out of my house. It's all about food, fun, and frolic.
Yes.
Speaking
Frolic.
of, I don't even know what that word means anymore. Frolic. My father
That's
used
an
to call
old-timey word.
frolics. Yeah, my father would say, Sunday morning, go in the parlor and watch your frolics. What did we call cartoons? Frolics. I could have sworn he called it frolics.
Could be. I mean, my dad, I don't. But then again, my dad wasn't a big talker at home, so he probably just was like, as long as he's not breaking anything, I don't
I'm
care
going to have to
what you're
Google
doing.
this.
Yeah, frolics.
Frolics. Watch your cartoons and your frolics. Yeah, he would say frolics.
I mean, the comics were the funnies. My dad said,
The funnies.
"Give me the funnies." From the
Remember,
day.
you read the funnies and you took a thing called Play-Doh and you put it on top and you pulled it up and there it was, right? Was it Play-Doh? No, what was that
silly
thing?
putty.
Silly putty, the shit in the
Yeah.
egg.
Yep, silly putty.
The silly putty.
Yeah, yeah.
Now you can't have it. You would choke.
Listen,
My
I
kid
say
did-
let natural selection do its thing. Like, the kid who eats too much silly putty doesn't grow up to have kids of his own. I'm just saying.
Silly putty. Stretch Armstrong. G.I. Joe.
Good,
good old
times,
days.
man. Lawn darts. Remember lawn darts?
Of course I
Yeah,
do.
Right?
I think I still got them. They're stuck in the wall.
Right? Yeah. A couple of kids lost an eye, and all of a sudden we couldn't have lawn darts anymore.
Do you guys have any plans on shooting something?
Well, I am working on some scripts. Like I said, I was very neglectful of all the horror stuff, but I've gotten back into it now, working on some horror stuff. And I'm working on a couple of scripts with some good friends of mine. So I will definitely be in touch. We've been trying for a long time, and we got to make that happen. Mike,
Sometimes
I'd love to work together. I really would.
I love watching scary ass shit. But there's nothing wrong with laughing a little bit at something scary.
No, not at all. I love a good horror comedy. I really do.
What we're going to do
is.
is, soon when the project I'm working on or that my team is working on, Tatiana and her husband Cody, put that together. We'll show it to you. You're going to get to take a look at something that's going to be really badass. Now, I haven't seen
love
it,
it.
so I can't
Yeah.
really say much. But I know how they are. It's going to be creepy.
Yeah, no, she already kind of reached out to me, and let me know about it. So I'm like, yeah, anytime, man.
Yeah.
I
don't know
Mike
how
is
long-
involved. Let's do it.
Well, it's a what do you call it? A proof of concept. So,
All right.
everybody's going to take a look at it. We'll see where we go from there. But the goal is now to put it in as many festivals as possible to see what kind of traction we can get. Hopefully raise a certain amount of money to actually shoot it for real and enjoy that type of stuff. I want to get killed. I really don't want to get killed because if there's a sequel, I'll be pissed. But I like playing that type of a role.
Come on. Dying is never really permanent in sci-fi
true.
or horror
We
movies.
could do a prequel.
We'll bring you back.
Prequel. Tell everybody where they can find you on the internet on all social media levels.
I am a social media whore, so I am not hard to find. You can go to my website, horrornerd.net, and all the links are there. Just Instagram, Facebook, YouTube. Just look for The Horror Nerd, and you'll see this mug, and it will pop up. But the horrornerd.net, my website, is kind of the central hub. I am really not hard to find.
HorrorNut.net.
Well, you know what? I probably should have registered that one too. But yeah, like I said, I'm not that hard to find.
HorrorNerd.net. Go check out my man Todd or Toad and have some fun with what he's got going on in the world. And watch his projects too. And if you want to have a good time while you're watching his project, go to White Castle and grab yourself some hot dogs. Oh, they don't have hot dogs there.
No, they got clam strips, which I always thought was weird that they had clam strips at White Castle.
Really? I never even heard. I don't even know what the hell that is.
Yeah.
I don't do that. I'm allergic to fish. Sometimes I go to my friend's place, Corey's Bagels in Chicago. You guys can too. They're the best. Great coffee, great sandwiches, great bagels. That's my buddy out there in Chicago, Corey's Bagels. And I say that because they sent me this shirt and some bagels. And I love those guys.
Oh, and don't forget, check out Theater of Terror and Return to the Theater of Terror on all the streaming platforms. It's really not
How long is each project?
So the first one is about an hour and 50 minutes. The second one's about 2 hours and 15 minutes or so.
I have to see this.
Yeah.
On Amazon?
Yeah, Amazon Prime. They're there. I'll send you links.
2 hours. It's almost a 2-hour movie?
Yeah.
I have to watch this tonight.
But this is the beauty of watching from home. You can take a break. You can, do your thing. They're a little long, but they're worth it. I promise.
Oh, I have to watch.
Yeah.
I have to see this. Anybody in it that I would know?
Me. No, we're low budget, man. I'm not going to lie. We're low budget, but
That's okay, man. I watched Svengoolie.
We put our heart and our souls into it, and I think the quality is really there. Like, we spend our money wisely, I can say.
Can you reach out to Svengoolie and say, hey, air my project?
I probably could.
Would he do that?
I don't know.
Now, you're friends with him?
Look, friends is kind of a loose term. I've met him several times.
But he's got to be a horror nerd.
We're connected on social media, but it's not like
Is he here in New Jersey?
I think he's out of Philly.
I want to meet him. I'd love to see what he looks like without all that makeup.
Oh, with the makeup.
And is that a wig? I don't know if he's got a wig on.
Well, it's funny. There's a guy who goes to horror conventions who cosplays at Svengoolie, and it's so good you probably wouldn't tell the difference.
Svengoolie gets a cosplay?
Yeah.
Oh, that is fucked up,
There's
bro.
a guy that dresses up as Svengoolie at horror conventions.
Does Svengoolie know?
I couldn't tell you. I'm guessing so.
What an honor.
He looks like
What an honor.
Yeah.
Could you imagine going to a cosplay and somebody's playing you? That's the ultimate.
That is very cool.
I mean, people go there dressed like Batman and Robin. This guy's dressed up like Svengoolie?
Svengoolie, yeah.
Wow. Tatiana does cosplay.
Ah.
She dresses like some of those folks, and she really does it good. I mean, she does the whole thing, like, in detail. I don't know the name of this one show, but she dressed just like the girl. Ah, shit, I'm not going to do it justice. Anyway, it's nice to be around good teams of people who put good projects together. So
100%.
We're definitely going to be doing something.
100%.
I don't know. I don't mean to take any thunder from your interview today, but
no, not
I'm
at
just
all,
blown
man.
away by Svengoolie.
We're just here hanging out.
Chiller.
That was good.
You remember?
Shit,
then it
man.
went down like this.
Yep, and it had 6 fingers.
6 fingers.
And it would pull the letters down, the letters that spelled the chiller. Remember that? It would pull all the letters down. So
I think one of the best things they had on Chiller was Vincent Price. Vincent Price was always narrating something. Was he like the king of horror?
pretty much, man. Him, Peter Cushing, and Christopher Lee were like the big three back in the day.
Yeah.
You know? Grew up on that shit, and that has I'm fucked up ever since.
Bela Lugosi, Boris Karloff,
Boris.
Lon Chaney Jr.
Man of 1,000 faces.
right? Shit. We can go on for hours,
We
bro.
could.
We can go on
We
for hours,
could.
but we need to find out what's going on at his daughter's school. And we
Yeah.
want to get back to telling you people where to go watch some really cool horror shit. So go ahead, tell him one more time, and make sure you guys follow him.
HorrorNerd.net's my website, and The Horror Nerd. You can find me. My YouTube channel is where I put most of my stuff these days. All my celebrity interviews are there. 2 short films that I did are there. As far as the projects I did with my buddies, The Theater of Terror and Return to the Theater of Terror, you can find them wherever you get streaming. You know, Amazon, Vudu, Tubi, all that good stuff. And long live indie horror. Mike, thanks
Please.
so much for
Absolutely.
for inviting me to be on the show. I had a lot of fun, man. It's always fun chatting with
Well,
you.
hey, man, thank you so much for coming down to the basement and
Yeah.
hanging out with us. Let's do a nice big shout out to my producer, who I mentioned many times throughout tonight's podcast, Tatiana Blue Show,
Yes.
who always makes sure that we have a great guest. We do it right on time, and we do a great podcast. Thank you so much to my producer. In fact, folks, if you think you would be a great guest on the show, just write to her, Mike Marino Entertainment at gmail.com. Say hello to Tatiana, and maybe you can come down to the basement and hang around with us. And if you do, we just might bring some White Castle hamburgers.
Yes, indeed.
We got to get going. Thank you, everybody, for watching Mike Marino live from my mother's basement, exclusively on my YouTube channel. I'm starting to choke.
Please don't. There's paperwork and everything involved, Mike.
The horror. The trilogy of horror.
Take it easy.
The trilogy of horror. Let's make America Italian again, folks. You remember the motto. You don't know nothing, you don't see nothing, you don't say nothing. And how do I end every single one of my podcasts? By saying the same thing with my guest. Don't take no shit from nobody.
Exactly.
You ready? No, we're going to say it together.
All right.
Don't take no shit from nobody. Pretty good. You're a good actor. I'm sorry I'm choking. It must be that pixie dust. Hey, folks, thanks for watching live from my mother's basement. I hope you enjoyed the show. And if you did, hit the word like and leave me a really cool comment. You can also subscribe to my YouTube channel so you don't miss any of the future episodes, and you can watch some of the funniest videos on the internet. You can also listen to the show on Spotify or your favorite podcast app.